keep saying that the show is promoting misogyny. I actually disagree. I think what the show is promoting is racism.
It's simply not true. It is not true. White young boys are not the problem. There is a problem that they don't want to address, and they're blaming the problem on somebody else.
Breaking right now, growing outrage that Netflix is trying to use the new drama Adolescence as a political movement to target white working class boys as all of the ills in Britain. Now, I need to take you through what's going on with this series, quite honestly. And I will say from the start, I enjoyed the series. It's a beautiful piece of art. No one is denying that. But what's happening now is that Netflix is trying to use this piece of art as some type of psyop to try and say that the issues in this country, the violence in this country, the threats to women in this country are being caused by young white men, when the statistics prove that that is quite simply not true. Loads of evidence, by the way, about the fact that actually Netflix has based this story on truth, but changed the color, the race, the ethnicity of the lead character. As Keith Woods put it, this is how Netflix portrays a 13-year-old knife murderer in the UK. Second image is the person it was based on, and that image is Hassan Sintatmu, who was jailed for murdering Eliane and Dan. Ian Miles wrote, Netflix has a show called Adolescence that's about a British knife killer who stabbed a girl to death on a bus, and it's based on real life cases such as the Southport murderer. So guess what? They race swapped the actual killer from a black man migrant to a white boy, and the story has it so he was radicalized online by the Red Pill movement. Just the absolute state of anti-white propaganda. Now, as I say, I have absolutely no issue with a drama. Do whatever you want with a drama. If you want to make the white boy bad, that's your choice, Netflix. But this is already becoming more than a drama. This is becoming a political movement. And our foolish Prime Minister, our scumbag Slippery Starmer, in PMQs yesterday in the House of Commons when he was asked about Adolescence, at one point suggested it was a documentary. Watch this.
Everyone is talking about Adolescence, the series by Knowsley's own Stephen Graham and Christine Tamarco. It highlights online male radicalisation and violence against girls. The creators of the show are calling for screenings in Parliament and schools to spark change. So will the Prime Minister back this campaign to counter toxic misogyny early and give young men the role models they deserve?
Yeah. Prime Minister.
Yes, and at home we are watching Adolescence with our children. I've got a 16-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl, and it's a very, very good documentary to watch, or drama. This violence carried out by young men, influenced by what they see online, is a real problem. It's abhorrent, and we have to tackle it. We are putting in specialist rape and sexual offences teams in every police force doing work on the 999 calls, but this is also a matter of culture that I think it's important that across the whole House we tackle this emerging and growing problem.
He actually called it a documentary. They are trying to use this to push a narrative. Side note, by the way, regular viewers who've followed Outspoken for a while should just put in your memory bank the fact that Slippery Starmer just said he had 2 children. We'll come back to that another day. But Sophie Corcoran has posted on this Adolescence drama, why is the boy a young white boy? The boy the story was based on was not white. In addition to this, Afghans are 22 times more likely to be sex offenders. Foreign nationals are 71% more likely to be sex offenders. Stop blaming young white boys. Films like Adolescence are going to fuel misogyny, not help it. demonizing young white boys when they're not the problem and have done nothing wrong will fuel resentment, will fuel misogyny, and will give way to harmful actors becoming role models because the political class and media are ganging up on young white boys. It's spreading a harmful narrative. And I'm delighted to say Sophie is here alongside Based and Bougie. So, Sophie, this is my problem. It's the fact that this isn't just being viewed as a drama. The creator, the writer, is specifically campaigning for this drama to take away our free speech as well.
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying that this drama is great, but the reality is it's spreading a really dangerous message. And this dangerous message has been spread through the media for a long time. It's a demonization of young white boys. And we're seeing it in a whole host of matters, not just when it comes to sort of violence, but also when it comes to education and employment. Young white boys are consistently being demonized by the media. They're either called, dangers to women, they're all sex pests, or they're all hyper privileged. And this grouping of young white lads is extremely damaging. And what Adolescence is essentially doing is basically saying, look at all these young right wing boys, they're all becoming radicalized by Andrew Tate and they're all violent. When in actual fact, because the media has persistently picked on young white lads, has villainized young white boys who have done nothing wrong, many of whom are struggling themselves with issues, who aren't, they don't have white privilege, they don't have all the things that the media is saying they do. They're not all sex pests, they're not all harassers. And the media are doing this to young white lads. And what's happening is these boys are then, breeding resentment, breeding anger, thinking, why the media constantly picking on us? Why are we being picked on? So then they're looking to people like Andrew Tate, who perhaps are coming to be role models for them because they're being told they're too masculine, they're too toxic, they're violent, they're this, that, and the other. So they're then looking to these people. And this is what is fueling misogyny. This is what is fueling anger. It's the media picking on young men, blaming them for things that they haven't done. They're saying that they are things that they are not. And that then in turn is breeding anger amongst young men, which then is going to fuel itself in potentially harmful acts against women. So the media are doing a disservice to women. They're spreading an extremely violent narrative that is going to be very damaging in the long term in terms of relations between men and women. And it is simply not true. It is not true. White young boys are not the problem. There is a problem that they don't want to address, and they're blaming the problem on somebody else. And they're looking and thinking, oh, why are they not happy about that? Because it's not them.
But first, this episode of Outspoken is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver, the game-changing tool that brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. After so many shaving mishaps in my past, let's not even go there. Let me tell you that Manscaped has improved my grooming routine no end, actually my confidence with it too. What makes the Chairman Pro stand out though is its versatility and precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. So there's the 4-blade foil, that gives you a close shave if you're looking to go completely clean. Or if, like me, you like a bit of stubble, but you want it to look sharp and polished, you switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer. Don't worry though, both are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. Now, a standout feature that truly differentiates the Chairman Pro from the rest is the Flex Adjust technology. It innovates to ensure a superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face. Is gentle on the neck area too, let me tell you. And if you want even more precision on the right side of the bracket, there's a precision lock. When you lock it, the blade head sits firm so you can achieve a more precise shave. It's also waterproof, which means that you can clean up with a quick rinse under the sink. Get the Chairman Pro today. Experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Head on over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, including me. And check this out. If you use the code Outspoken, you will get free shipping anywhere in the world and 20% off. That's manscaped.com using the code Outspoken for free shipping and a whopping 20% on your entire order. But now, back to the show. Based in Bougie, where do you stand on Netflix and Adolescence?
Yeah, people keep saying that the show is promoting misogyny. I actually disagree. I think what the show is promoting is racism. Let me just quickly read you a statistic that was put out by GB News, by the way. So, out of 1,000 people who were arrested, 209 people are Albanian. Sorry. Out of 1,000 people that are arrested, 106 are Afghans. Out of 1,000 people that are arrested, 64 are Somalians. Out of 1,000 people that are arrested, 12 are white British boys. So wait, if this is a documentary, they could have at least got the demographic correct, because if out of 1,000 there's only 12 people that are white people, how on earth is this a documentary? Yes, this was a documentary in the sense that it was a story about, I believe his name was Hassan Sentamu, who slaughtered Eliane, may her soul rest in peace. And the problem that I have with these shows is that they promote white hate. This is just a perfect example, another example actually of white hate, meaning they keep pushing this hatred and this demonization towards white people. And I'm just not feeling, and this is the same media that keeps talking about ending racism. Now, let me make it very clear, the white race or the white culture is not superior. The same way every other culture is not superior. We both have our pros and we both have our cons in every culture. However, what I find to be very distasteful is the fact that they try to make it seem as though white culture has absolutely no pros, whilst also having all these people live in these very white countries is very contradictory. So yes, if this was going to be a documentary, they should have at least got the demographic right. And from what I read on the statistics, it is Albanians and Afghanistanis who are actually making up percentage of arrests and crimes. So why on earth would they get a white boy? It makes no sense.
No, it does make no sense, but we know why they're doing it. And again, let me repeat my point. If this was just a drama, right, and they just said, we wanted to make a drama, Stephen Graham said, I wanted to use a nuclear family in Liverpool because that's what I associate with, I would have been totally happy with that. No issues with that. But it's the fact that they are using this to change the law, to run a psyop, and we're not stupid. I mean, let me show. I mean, of course, the British Bashing Corporation are all over this, totally all over this, loving this, trying to change the law, having people talk about crying as men and masculinity on Newsnight last night. But watch this interview with the creator of the show and Stephen Graham, specifically just admitting that they want to change the laws of the UK as a result of a drama which is not based on reality.
You mentioned at the start of the interview, you hope people pay attention to this.
Yes.
So parents, teachers, government.
Yes.
What would you like them to pay attention to?
Well, in Australia, they're doing this thing where they're implementing this digital age of consent, and they're trying to, and that would mean making it the social media company's responsibility to prevent kids accessing social media until they're age 16. We need to be doing the same here. That researching this show required going into the darkest holes of the internet. It doesn't take long to access. And these kids are being polluted by this stuff, and we need to stop that pollution. And parents can do a lot, schools can do a lot, but actually I think as a parent of a almost 9-year-old, we need government to do something because they need to control the conversation on this one.
There's that beautiful saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And Jack twisted that narrative a little bit, and Jack said, it also takes a village to destroy a child. So I think we need to, we're all...
So Sophie Corcoran, always the case on the left, the solution is more regulation. The solution is a crackdown on freedom of speech. And that is why there is this big push by Labour to show this in Parliament, to show this in every school, demonize young white people, take away freedom of speech, while ignoring the elephant in the room about what types of groups in society actually cause the violence.
Well, yeah, because it's easier for a government to pick on a small problem as opposed to a big problem. But even if we did deprive young people of social media, the young people aren't seeing that much violence on social media in comparison to the amount of things that they're seeing where extremely prominent people in society are calling young people overprivileged, toxic, too masculine, too violent. This is what young boys are being fed and what they're going to continue to be fed by this documentary. And it's dangerous, it's harmful. This is a harmful message that we shouldn't be sending to young men. In equal sense, and this is what is breeding perhaps these people that become role models, for example, Andrew Tate and people like that, who perhaps aren't, the best role models for young boys to have. But the reason why they're looking for these role models is because they're persistently being told by people that they are wrong, that there is something wrong with them just because they happen to be young, white, working class boys. But as is always, let's just try and suppress free speech. Let's just try and hyper regulate everything as opposed to tackling the real cultural issues. One is being the hatred towards men that has infested Western society and is becoming extremely dangerous and extremely toxic. And the second, of course, is the fact that actually a lot of this misogyny is coming from other cultures that perhaps shouldn't actually be welcomed in the UK, but because we'll tie ourselves in woke little knots by saying that, we're not actually going to tackle that issue as well.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go wherever you are.